Hello and welcome to the 10th week of Season 23, Season of the Wish, starting on January 30th, 2024. So for week 10, let's get going with our legacy rotation, starting with the Forsaken expansion.
Ready if you are. Let's see what's out there.
The Dreaming City this week is at a strong curse level, which means Petrovenge can be found in Ria Silvia, and has the Dark Monastery mission for the next week. The Blind Well features Taken Enemies and the Plague, Aina Mina. The Ascendant challenge this week will be Ouroboros, which can be located over in the Aphelions Rest Lost sector on the Dreaming City. Next up, the Shadowkeep expansion. On the Moon, the weekly story mission is in the Deep. The Trove Guardian and the Wandering Nightmare, Jacques, Claws of Ziva Arath, are both located at the Hellmouth. And the Nightmare hunts this week will be Skolast, Pride, Omnigul, Anguish, and Zydron, Servitude. For our Beyond Light expansion, on Europa this week, Praxis the Technocrat will be the Empire Hunt, Cadmus Ridge will be the Eclipse Zone, and the Exo Challenge will be Safeguard. For the 30th anniversary expansion, Days of Eternity legendary rounds are Hive, Fallen, and for the final round, Valor Arc. The loot rotation will be on week 1's rotation, with the Scatterhorn armor set and the Wild Hunt armor set being available. The weapons available this week will be the Arc Lightweight Frame Bow, Arsenic Bite 4B, the Arc Adaptive Frame Heavy Grenade Launcher, Blast Batu, the Solar Precision Frame Linear Fusion Rifle, Corsair's Wrath, the Void Wave Frame Energy Grenade Launcher, Deafening Whisper, the Kinetic Adaptive Frame Hand Cannon, Dire Promise, the Kinetic Precision Frame Sidearm, Enigma's Draw, the Kinetic Lightweight Frame Submachine Gun, Escape Velocity, the Arc Adaptive Frame Pulse Rifle, Giant 7 Rifle, the Kinetic Precision Frame Submachine Gun, Friction Fire, the Void Precision Frame Scout Rifle, Royal Chase, the Kinetic Aggressive Frame Hand Cannon, True Prophecy, and the Solar Adaptive Frame Fusion Rifle, Timeline's Vertex. For the Witch Queen expansion, the Witch Queen weekly story mission is the Ritual, where the modifier is Fire Pit, as well as Barrier and Unstoppable Champions. Also this week you will have Altar of Reflections Catalyst and Altar of Reflections Pact. The Wellspring activity has been updated to include a featured Throne World weapon, Veritas armor, and a weapon pattern as its rewards. For the Lightfall expansion, the weekly mission is No Time Left, with Barrier and Unstoppable Champions, lock loadouts at Legend difficulty and higher, Void Threat, Void and Strand Shields, Pestilence, Stasis and Solar Surges, with overcharged machine guns and galvanized on hero difficulty only. The Partition mission will be Hard Reset, Contest Mode enabled with Barrier and Unstoppable Champions, Arc Threat, Martyr and Empath modifiers, Void and Strand Shields, with Stasis and Solar Surges. And the Vex incursion this week will be Liming Harbour. In addition, the weekly Lightfall reset also refreshes the Pinnacle drop for the Node Override Avalon Exotic mission on the EDZ, and the Starcrossed Exotic mission in the Helm. For the Season of the Deep, all 3 fishing ponds are now exotic all week. Raids and Dungeons. The Crota's End raid challenge this week is the 4th encounter, Crota, Son of Oryx, called All for One. Crota's Overshield must be destroyed in full within about 3 seconds. Plus, if you complete the weekly challenge on Master, you'll get an Adept weapon. The Adept weapon you get is a random drop, but works on a knockout system. You will get a new one with every challenge you complete every week until you've unlocked them all. The Root of Nightmares raid challenge this week is the 1st encounter, Cataclysm, called Illuminated Torment. This is where every Tormentor must be killed by a player with the Field of Light buff. The Kingsfall raid challenge this week is the 2nd encounter, War Priest, called Devious Thievery. Players must steal the brandy of the Initiate within a couple of seconds of taking the Brand Claimer's buff. The Vow the Disciple challenge this week is the 2nd encounter, the Caretaker, called Base Information, where runners cannot pick up more than 1 stack of knowledge on each run. The Vault of Glass challenge this week is the 3rd encounter, Templar, called Out of Its Way, where you must keep the Templar from teleporting. The Garden of Salvation challenge this week is the 4th encounter, Sanctified Mind, called 0 to 100, where you must fully fill each conflux with 30 motes within 10 seconds of initially banking the first set of motes. And the Last Wish challenge this week is the 2nd encounter, Shirochi, called Witch Witch. Guardians must not get hit or take damage from Shirochi's Arc Blast. Your Pinnacle raid will be the Deep Zone Crypt over on Europa, which means all challenges will be available for each encounter. These are the 1st encounter, Crypt Security, called Red Rover. This is where all Guardians must be an operator and shoot the 2 panels on the lower levels. The 2nd encounter, Atrax 1, called Copies of Copies, where you must not send any Atrax 1 replicant debuffs into the airlock/space. The 3rd encounter, Tanix Part 1, called Of All Trades. Guardians must perform each role at least once, Operator, Scanner and Suppressor. And the 4th encounter, Tanix, called The Core 4. Guardians must dunk all 4 cores before each DPS phase. Also, with the Deep Zone Crypt being the featured raid, this does mean that you can farm the final boss for a chance at the exotic rocket launcher, Eyes of Tomorrow. The Pinnacle dungeon will be the Pit of Heresy on the Moon. And our exotic mission Rotator will be Operation Seraph Shield, with the Revision 0 exotic pulse rifle being the main reward. Craftable weapons available from this mission include the Stasis Aggressive Frame Linear Fusion Rifle Fire and Forget, the Arc Lightweight Frame Bow Tripwire Canary, the Stasis Aggressive Burst Pulse Rifle Disparity, the Arc Adaptive Frame Trace Rifle Path of Least Resistance, the Solar Aggressive Glaive Judgment of Kelgoroth, the Void Rapid Fire Frame Machine Gun Retrofit Escapade, the Void Precision Frame Hand Cannon iCalos HC, the Solar Rapid Fire Frame Shotgun iCalos SG, the Solar Rapid Fire Frame Sniper iCalos SR, and the Arc Aggressive Frame Submachine Gun iCalos SMG, with the Warmind's Avatar Armor Set. Next up, challenges. Naya Ahamkara Hunt. Find 7 of Queen Mara's loyal companions. 4. Challenge XP+. Throne World activities. In the Throne World, complete bounties and earn progress by completing patrols, public events and looting lost sectors. 4. Challenge XP and Bright Dust. Last rites. Get 150 ability final blows in Crucible, Gambit or Vanguard. Bonus progress is granted for Guardian final blows. 4. Challenge XP++ and Bright Dust. Most Dangerous Prey. Defeat 25 Guardians in Gambit or Crucible. 4. Challenge XP+ and Bright Dust. Momentum Crash. Defeat 50 Guardians in Momentum Control. Earn bonus progress with Zone Advantage. 4. Challenge XP+ and Bright Dust. Bank, Kill, Repeat. Earn points by banking moats, defeating blockers and defeating Guardians in Gambit. 4. Challenge XP and Bright Dust. And Calibrate Long Range. Calibrate 200 long range weapons. Pulse rifles, bows and trace rifles. Bonus progress for defeating Guardians. 4. Challenge XP++ and Bright Dust. Hello! As a reminder, your daily lost sector will show you a flag outside which will give you details of threats, shields, champions and exotic armor you will find inside. But if you're new to the game or using an alternate character and can't find the flag outside, you will have to run through the lost sector normally to have it show up on your map as a legend/master, which you can either do solo or with a fire team. But you'll only be able to earn a chance at the exotic drop when completing solo. This season will see the introduction of Gunsmith engrams, as well as a selection of foundry weapons for completing Legend and Master lost sectors while solo, with Legend being a 70% chance to Master being 100%, assuming the Guardian is thorough enough to leave no champion standing. Thorough completions on Master difficulty will also have the advantage of weapons dropping an additional perk in either the 3rd or 4th column. The weapons available from the lost sectors are grouped into 4 weapons per day over 4 days, and after the 4th day the cycle repeats back to the first set. The following weapons will be available from the lost sectors during the Season of the Wish. Day 1, the Strand High Impact Frame Fusion Rifle Nox Perennial 5, the Strand Adaptive Frame Auto Rifle Old Sterling, the Solar Rapid Fire Frame Grenade Launcher Marsilian C, and the Stasis Omolon Adaptive Frame Sidearm Sinua SI6. Day 2, the Stasis High Impact Frame Pulse Rifle Cyhamatic 5, the Strand Precision Frame Scout Rifle Glissando 47, the Strand Vice Rapid Fire Frame Sniper Rifle Urakanji, and the Arc Adaptive Frame Sword Nazaruddin. Day 3, the Solar Lightweight Frame Sidearm Heliocentric QSC, the Kinetic Aggressive Frame Sniper Rifle Last Foray, the Arc Aggressive Frame Shotgun Hand in Hand, and the Kinetic Lightweight Frame Pulse Rifle Battle Scar. Day 4, the Nadir Void Adaptive Frame Sword Geodetic HSM, the Arc Aggressive Frame Hand Cannon Combined Action, the Void Wave Frame Grenade Launcher Harsh Language, and the Solar Adaptive Frame Auto Rifle Coronaccia 22. This week's rotation will start on weapon set 4 on Tuesday's reset. Tuesday, January 30th will be Scavenger's Den on the EDZ for exotic gauntlets, Solar Threat, Solar and Strand Surges, Arc Shields, Scorched Earth Modifier, Overcharged Fusion Rifles with Barrier and Overload champions. Wednesday, January 31st will be Skydot 4 on the EDZ for exotic chests, Solar Threat, Solar and Strand Surges, Void Shields, Pestilence Modifier, Overcharged Shotguns with Barrier and Unstoppable champions. Thursday, February 1st will be the Quarry on the EDZ for exotic helmets, Void Threat, Solar and Strand Surges, Void and Solar Shields, Scorched Earth Modifier, Overcharged Grenade Launchers with Barrier and Unstoppable champions. Friday, February 2nd will be Aphilion's Rest on the Dreaming City for exotic boots, Solar Threat, Solar and Stasis Surges, Void Shields, Epitaph Modifier, Overcharged Shotguns with Overload and Unstoppable champions. Saturday, February 3rd will be the Bay of Drowned Wishes on the Dreaming City for exotic gauntlets, Arc Threat, Solar and Stasis Surges, Void Shields, Raider Shield Modifier, Overcharged Snipers with Overload and Unstoppable champions. Sunday, February 4th will be the Chamber of Starlight on the Dreaming City for exotic chests, Solar Threat, Solar and Stasis Surges, Void and Solar Shields, Epitaph Modifier, overcharged swords with overload and unstoppable champions. And finally, back round to Monday, February 5th will be Perdition on Europa for exotic helmets, Arc Threat, Solar and Stasis Surges, Arc and Void shields, Shock and Modifier, overcharged fusion rifles with barrier and overload champions.
Lead the way.
Our 10th featured Nightfall will see us face off against Grask in the reprised Lake of Shadows over on the EDZ, where you have a chance to get a Pinnacle engram if you complete the Nightfall with a score of 200k or more. This Nightfall is free to play. You'll be able to earn high-end gear for your characters, including the Nightfall featured weapon, exotic gear, enhancement cores, enhancement prisms, ascendant shards and adept Nightfall ciphers. The higher the Nightfall difficulty, the more common the drop will be, with the featured weapon and exotic gear being uncommon at hero difficulty to being common with ascendant shards in Grand Masters. Legend and lower Nightfalls will have 5 barrier and 5 unstoppable champions, with 5 solar, 2 void and 1 arc shields. Masters will have 10 barrier and 9 unstoppable, with 13 solar, 6 void and 5 arc shields. Your Nightfall modifiers are hero difficulty maximum effective level 1765, matchmaking is available, enemies have extra shields, champions foe, you will face barrier and unstoppable champions, you can either use intrinsic exotics, use a subclass debuff or unlock anti-champion mods from the seasonal artifact. Arc threat, 25% increase in incoming arc damage. Overcharged weapons, weapons overcharged from the seasonal artifact are active in this activity. Kinetic weapons do increase damage when your subclass element matches an active surge. Solar surge, 25% bonus to outgoing solar damage. Stasis surge, 25% bonus to outgoing stasis damage. Overcharged machine guns, 25% bonus damage with machine guns. Galvanize, combatants have more health and are more difficult to stun. Legend difficulty, maximum effective level 1815, includes all previous modifiers except Galvanized. No matchmaking. Denial, taken vandals have more shields. Epitaph, taken enemies drop blight geysers on death. Master difficulty, maximum effective level 1820, includes all previous modifiers except Galvanize. Champions mob, this difficulty adds more champion enemies. Togetherness, both health regen is reduced, if near another player health regen is increased. Grand Master difficulty, maximum effective level 1815, includes all previous modifiers except Galvanized, Togetherness and Denial. Joining progress disabled. Extinguish, if your fire team falls in a restricted zone, your team is returned to orbit. Limited revives, gain additional revives by defeating champions, up to a maximum of 20. Contest mode, which caps your power level to make enemies more of a challenge. And Chafe, the radar is disabled. To combat champions, you have access to subclass counters as well as a choice of intrinsic anti-champion artifact mods. This season's artifact is the Queen's Force Sensor. The anti-champion mods available this week are Anti-Barrier Sidearm, Unstoppable Hand Cannon, and Unstoppable Bow. You also have exotic weapons and armor that can help with intrinsic mods as well. For Anti-Barrier, the Kinetic Bow Wishender, the Kinetic Linear Fusion Rifle Arbalist, the Kinetic Pulse Rifle Revision 0, the Solar Energy Hand Cannon Ariana's Vow, the Solar Heavy Sword The Lament, and the Titan Gauntlet's Second Chance, which gain a second charge of a shield throw melee which becomes shield piercing and stuns barrier champions. For Unstoppable, the Kinetic Fusion Rifle Bastion, the Kinetic Hand Cannon Malfeasance, the Kinetic Scout Rifle Touch of Malice, the Solar Energy Sidearm Devil's Ruin, the Void Heavy Bow Leviathan's Breath, the Titan Gauntlet Sash and Wake, where Fusion Grenade hits stun unstoppable champions, and the Hunter Gauntlet Zathras' Embrace, which have a chance to stun unstoppable champions with their empowered weighted knife. The Nightfall featured weapon to attain this week will be the Arcwave Frame Grenade Launcher Undercurrent. The Undercurrent has a base blast radius of 100, velocity of 74 and reload speed of 69. It can roll with Bait and Switch, Volt Shot and Adrenaline Junkie, with Demolitionist, Eddy Current and Lead from Gold. It has the Origin trait of Stunning Recovery, where if you stun a champion you partially refill the magazine, trigger health regen and improve your recovery for a short duration. And Vanguard Vindication, where final blows with the weapon grant a small amount of health. Available in the 6v6 playlist should be Control. Control is a variation of Team Deathmatch, with the added variable of 3 capture points on the map, in which teams will need to work together to capture and hold the point. Guardians conquer capture points by standing on them while no enemies are in capture range. The process takes about 10 seconds and is not affected by the number of Guardians taking part in the capture. Each team begins with a capture point under their control, the one that is closest to their starting area. The third capture point will initially be neutral. Depending on the number of capture points held by a team, the points rewarded for killing an opponent varies. The scoring is calculated as follows. Base kill rewards plus 1 point. Zone advantage, when a team holds 2 capture points, killing an enemy will reward the team with 2 points. Power play, when a team holds all 3 capture points, killing an enemy will reward them with plus 3 points. Capture, Conquering a capture point rewards the team that claimed it with +1 point. Capturing a point will reward you and your team a small portion of super energy. If you are on the point while it's captured, you will gain additional energy on top of this small portion. During a control match, there is only one power ammo spawn location. It will spawn in at 45 seconds and then every 120 seconds. Control matches feature an 8-minute time limit and all players will respawn automatically 5 seconds after the death mechanics. The first team to 150 points or the team that has the most points at the end of the time limit is declared the winner. It's also possible that Sparrow Control could be available as a selectable mode. Sparrow Control is a modified version of Control, where the only difference from a regular control match is that you will be able to summon and ride your Sparrow around the map. You will still have to capture and defend 3 control points to win, but you do have the advantage of getting there faster. Sparrows can also be used as weapons to run over or blow up your opponent. Momentum Control also makes a return in the Party Relentless playlist. Momentum Control is a 6v6 PvP mode which is a variation on the regular control mode, where every weapon is significantly higher in lethality, meaning that you can take out your opponents much faster than normal. Respawns are instant, and defeating enemy players in Momentum Control will grant faster regeneration on your melee, grenade and super. Players get increased damage resistance when they activate a super, to help counteract that little bit of extra damage that the guns give out. The mode also has increased capture speed on points and radar is removed for every player. Achieve victory by capturing zones and defeating opponents. Showdown will also be available in the 3v3 playlist. In Showdown, 2 teams of 3 compete in a round-based twist on the standard team deathmatch. Teams have to work together to score as many kills as they can across a series of 5 timed rounds. If each team manages to win 2 rounds apiece, a 5th Showdown round commences, in which each player has only 1 life, kicking off a tense elimination style tiebreaker. Rounds are 90 seconds with a score limit of 10. Revives are available, and reviving a down teammate before they respawn will take the point back from the opposing team. Plus, available in the Crucible Labs playlist this week will be 3v3 Checkmate Clash. Checkmate Clash has been modified to reflect a fan favourite of the original Destiny, Skirmish, so revives are enabled. Don't forget that the checkmate parameters will be in play, with primary weapon damage being tuned to feel a little differently from the rest of the game. Players also have increased health, but the passive regeneration of grenade, melee and class abilities have all been reduced by 15%, and supers by 20%. You will now spawn in with 2 special ammo per game, but you will have to earn additional ammo by generating points from kills, assists, deaths, zone captures and gathering heavy ammo. You won't lose points accumulated on death, and special ammo you earn persists through lives and rounds. Additionally, you will not drop special ammo on death.
Delightful!
And Saint 14 will be back at the weekend with Trials of Osiris Dominion, bringing with him a whole host of rewards for players who do make it to the Lighthouse and open the chest. These include the Hero's Wake Exotic Ghost Shell, the Valiant Memory Exotic Ship, the Survivor's Journey Exotic Sparrow, a new armor set, and the new Trials Shader Visor Regalia. Trials of Osiris Dominion is a 3v3 PvP high-stakes game mode with a twist of a capture point. In Dominion, 2 teams of 3 go head-to-head in a battle for control of a capture point. Teams can either work together to capture the control point, or eliminate the enemy team to win the round. Only available from Friday Reset until Tuesday Weekly Reset, Trials gives every player the chance to show off their PvP skills to obtain some of Destiny's most sought-after weapons and armor. Players that compete in Trials of Osiris will have all of their games tracked to a passage card, a ticket purchased from Saint 14 in the lower hangar of the tower. Winning rounds and matches in Trials of Osiris will grant exclusive weapons, armor, Pinnacle gear, masterwork materials, and even adept gear for the most skilled players who can reach the Lighthouse with a flawless ticket of 7 games won and no losses. 5 round wins will bag you the match for your passage card. By competing in Trials, you do have a chance to pick up 2 Pinnacle engrams from playing each week, one from 50 round wins and the other from winning 7 games. These do not have to be done all in one go, but you do have to complete them before the weekly reset.
Earn your honour, Guardian.
Starting this Tuesday, January 30th, players can visit Marasov in the Helm, where they can accept a new weekly quest with a high-risk objective in the Dreaming City, such as completing legendary lost sectors or dungeons. Upon completion of these weekly objectives, players can return to Mara to receive a wish token. Each week you can use this token to choose a prize from one of the 3 different categories. Category 1, Last Wish Resonance, where you can choose a red bordered Last Wish raid weapon. These are the Kinetic Rapid Fire Frame Sniper Rifle Supremacy, the Kinetic High Impact Frame Scout Rifle Transfiguration, the Solar Adaptive Frame Rocket Launcher Apex Predator, the Kinetic Lightweight Frame Pulse Rifle Chattering Bone, the Arc Adaptive Frame Handgun and Nation of Beasts, the Arc Adaptive Frame Fusion Rifle Techium Force, the Solar Lightweight Frame Bow Tyranny of Heaven, and the Void High Impact Frame Auto Rifle Age Old Bond. Category 2, Exotics, where you can choose a piece of Lightfall Year Exotic Armour. For the Hunters, the Speedloader Slacks, Certarachne's Facade, Triton Vice, and the Mothkeeper's Wraps. For the Titans, the Cadmus Ridge Lance Cap, a Bayant Leap, a Bull Warden, and the Pyrogale Gauntlets. For the Warlocks, Balador's Wrathweavers, Swarmers, Cenotaph Mask, and the Briarbinds. Category 3 Miscellaneous, where you can choose from a variety of other rewards, such as Dawning and Fetter of the Lost Mementos, Ascendant Shards, Ascendant Alloys, and Exotic Ciphers. Riven's Wishes will offer new quests for 6 weeks, but you will have time to complete them and earn rewards up through the Final Shapes release.
That is amazing.
Also arriving on January 30th, Moments of Triumph returns, with a collection of 30 challenges celebrating everything you've been able to achieve in the past year. If you've been active, you'll likely already have some of these completed, which just gets you closer to getting the 26 you'll need for the 2023 title. Along the way, you'll also earn some event rewards, including the new Laurel Shell for your Ghost, and the Fire Guilt Quadrig Sparrow, plus access to purchase the 2023 Moments of Triumph shirt. This week we'll also see bonus Crucible ranks available all week long.
Get back out there.
And that's it for the 10th week of Season of the Wish. Thank you for watching. Allons-y.
Guardian down.